Ki khubor ka Batesi TV.
Ka umdi basnyam bat penjasliang. Rupa Premium Meghalaya.
Ka Shillong Literary Festival kabasan kabalalong harut ka pung nanpolong kala Khring yakin riu phongut Nongthoh kot ki ba pau khmat Nongthoh poetry Nongthoh kon Nongshna Phlim bat ki Proh Jabieng ba pau nam na kelengkari India bat nakiri ka perthai hakani sngi laidan rangkat lang ka festival curator ka Malvika Banerjee u commissioner and secretary katnat jungo kai perthai u Dr Vijay Kumar D bat u commissioner and secretary jongka sarkar Meghalaya u ba Cyril VD Dingdo Kanthubro Nongthoh kot ki pau khmat ka jalla na rilum khasi jantia garo bat na bar ka jalla
essayist, translator and musician. He's an award-winning author of books in the areas of health and spirituality. See the applause going, ladies and gentlemen.
Novel for children, and when I came back from India, I already felt a writer. So I am very happy to be in Shillong, to be in this festival for the first time. Today we will have a nice conversation about the secrets of Ikigai, the purpose in life, with a professor about Meghalaya folklore. And tomorrow we'll speak about the folk Purushart, because I wrote a book together with Hector Garcia that in the rest of the world is called Namaste, because it's the most international Indian word, and we are going to discuss also about that. So thank you very much for having me here in this little paradise, and I am looking forward to these conversations and to meet you also in the signing table.
Music and temples has always lived in the Indian imagination as a place where stories breathe easily. I am honored to add my own voice to that landscape. My own journey as a writer began long before I ever put pen to paper. It began with reading. Greedy, restless reading books became the first bridges I crossed. They carried me from the red earth of Hassan to the green silence of the places I had ever seen, including these very hills. Through stories, I traveled across India, from the poetry of Kashmir to the folklore of the Northeast, from coastal tales to desert dreams. Long before I met people, I met their imaginations. This, I believe, is literature's greatest gift. It creates a shared homeland of ideas. A Tamil poet's longing can speak to a Khasi grandmother's memory. A Kannada metaphor can find rhythm in a Bengali heartbeat. In books, our differences do not divide us. They deepen our understanding of one another. If I stand here today as a Booker Prize winner, it is because so many authors shaped me. I grew up listening to them with a kind of reverence. Their courage to tell the truth, their insistence on beauty, even in brokenness, stirred something fierce within me. They taught me that writing is not just expression, it is an act of witness, a way of holding the world with tenderness and honesty. Shillong reminds me of that. Its rain-soaked poetry, its quiet strength, the stories held in its tones, all of it tells us that landscapes shape literature just as literature shapes landscapes. This festival here in these hills is a reminder of how deeply stories connect us. As we begin this celebration, I hope we allow ourselves to wander into unfamiliar narratives, to listen with patience, to imagine with courage. Let these next days be filled with conversations that surprises us, words that challenges us, and stories that stay long after we return home.
Melds the local with the pan-Indian and with the presence of some stalwarts from overseas. Francesc is right here. We have a mosaic of thoughts and ideas to present to Shillong. I am delighted to welcome Banu ma'am here and look forward to hearing stories from the Venerable Shonjoy Hazarika, young Sam Dalrymple who will be speaking later today, and his take on the 20th century India, history of India, and of the artistic presentation of young Shillongites, if that's a word, like Sonal Jain and Anurag Banerjee. Poetry, fiction, the stories and challenges faced by the Northeast, the magical prose from across the country, and even the journey of one of Shillong's most iconic names, the Shillong Chamber Choir. We have all of this and more at the festival this year. I have to say it was a unique pleasure for me to also curate the Khasi and Garo programs in this year's Literature Festival, and to be advised in that by people like Kong Streamlit, Kong Pat, of course Shonjoy, who I think I have given a lot of sleepless nights to, and we have worked very hard to make this a festival with heart and with the songs, stories, dreams and aspirations of this beautiful state and this absolutely magical city. Literature festivals are places where people talk a lot, but the better way of describing a literature festival is that a lot of people listen quietly, and there are no rants, there are reasonable conversations, there is music and there is rhythm where there normally is dissonance. It is with this dream that we always curate our literature festivals as anti-debates, as conversations, as platforms where one can hear another point of view, and at some point where we see other people's dreams and know that we are not as different as we are similar. I hope you enjoy these next 3 days, and I sincerely hope that you enjoy what we've tried very hard to make a wonderful festival. Enjoy the conversations, enjoy the performances.
This, we understand how direct connectivity is so important for tourism. So just a little background. I know I'll not talk a lot about literature, but I'll talk about overall what is it that we are trying to do here in our beautiful state. When post-COVID, basically we all know COVID was in some sense a defining period of many of our lives and economies and state strategies. When we were thinking of, we came up with a plan of how do we revive the economy, what are the things that need to be done, where the investments need to be made in the state post-COVID. So one of the things that we identified was creative economies. So how do we promote creative economy in the place? Because like in South India, our forte is not like, it's not that, we are excellent at mathematics or something. So our forte, we felt, of the young people. We have a lot of young people here. Meghalaya has a huge young population. India is a young country, but even compared to India, the youth population of Meghalaya is much higher. And one of the things that we identified as a huge potential area is creative economies, whether it is music, whether it is literature, whether it is art, whether it is design, whether it is food, and all that obviously connects to tourism, which is one of the biggest growth drivers for the state of Meghalaya, and then it connects with employment and opportunities. So with that, this LitFest that we started this LitFest in 2021. We also started our Cherry Blossom, the music festival, the big festival that we do, also in 2021. That also we celebrated the 5th edition of the festival, hugely successful. I'm sure many of you were there. I've seen many of you on the dance floor also. So we had this amazing festival, and both these festivals we are celebrating the 5th edition. So when we identified these creative economies, what did we do? So we listed, there are 5-6 things which we need to focus on. So first was music. So in music, whether it is festivals, whether it is big concerts, and very importantly, the MC just mentioned about what is called the Grassroots Music Program. The Chief Minister's Grassroots Music Program. Meghalaya is probably the only state where If you go around in the streets of Shillong and Kendailat and other places, you'll find in the evening musicians playing. So there's a lot of busking going on, there are cafe gigs going on. But the interesting thing is all these gigs, all these are supported by the government. Because what we realized is that it takes a certain amount of time and certain amount of economic activity to pick up before cafes are ready to pay a musician and hire a musician. So we said in the interim, while we are investing in the large concerts which cost a lot of money, we also invest in day-to-day small events. 10,000 rupees we pay to an artist, we pay to an event manager 10,000 rupees and get the entire ecosystem going. So this was the idea of our Honorable Chief Minister when he's a musician himself. When he was Tourism Minister, back in 2021, he was Tourism Minister. Today he is not here. He will be here with us tomorrow because today he has gone for the swearing-in ceremony of the Bihar government. So with that idea, today I think in music, the most interesting thing we are doing is what is called the grassroots music program, where about 7,000 musicians are supported to take up various performances, and we have identified talent, and many of these are getting national and international platforms. The second one is films. Again, Meghalaya is, I think we have one of the most successful state-owned OTT platform. We call this Hello Meghalaya. So we thought that there's a lot of opportunity for content to be created in the local language, Khasi, Garo, Panar. So how do we do that? How do we provide this platform? So we created an OTT platform. So in the OTT platform today, we are providing grants to filmmakers to make films, and these films are seen by everyone, and that ecosystem started. Now we recently came up with a film policy. Just yesterday, a film was being shot here, a Tollywood film, which will be dubbed in many languages. So for the first time, on a big screen, the cherry blossoms of Shillong and all will be shown. So that's the other thing that's happening. Then there's design. The other day, somebody, I think the head of the World Food Program, walked into my office for a meeting, and she started the conversation by saying, "I'm very grateful that, oh, your office looks like a place called the Meghalayan Age store in Delhi. This is the best store in Delhi, and whenever I want high quality products, whether it is turmeric, whether it is craft, I go there." I said, "Madam, it is our store only. It is made by the humble tourism department of government of Meghalaya." So in design, I think we are setting new benchmarks. If you look at any of the packaging of our products, of our craft, so we have been able to do this with the support of the entrepreneurs, supporting these entrepreneurs, and doing various. Our entrepreneurs have been to Osaka for the World Expo. The huge appreciation for the state. They brought in a lot of laurels. So in the field of design, a lot is happening. Then food. Again, we all know Meghalaya has amazing food. Again, all these stalls that are there here, I urge everyone while in between the breaks that we have to kind of check out all these stalls. So we have amazing food, and a lot of experiments with food are happening. So the government has a very interesting food ateliers program where we are supporting food entrepreneurs to set up restaurants. Today, Shillong has a vibrant food scene. Fruit wine scene is great as well. Again, 5 years ago, fruit wines were all being made in the traditional way. Today, with the support of the agriculture department, if you see some of the fruit wines, they are really, again, high quality, and we are using local fruits. So supporting the local farmers and the entrepreneurs and tourism. And last, I'll come to obviously literature. So the literature festival, when we started the literature festival, it was mostly we got in authors from outside. We had a few local authors. But today, when I look at the number of book releases that we are doing, which we were supposed to do today, we are doing tomorrow. So this has spurned a whole movement of engagement in colleges, engagement in our schools and institutions. So last year, the footfalls at this Litfest were, I don't remember the numbers, but I think this whole place was packed. So today we just did the inaugural, but by evening, by afternoon, I expect this whole place to be packed, and the levels of interest in literature, in conversations, in poetry, this festival has been able to spurn all this. So this is the overall scenario of what I think we have been able to achieve and accomplish in the last few years. And this is all possible because of collaborations, because of partnerships, because of working together with people, because of all the entrepreneurs in all the sectors who have been able to really create Meghalaya as a buzzword for quality, for standards, for excellence. So I think that's the overall background. I'm very, very happy. I myself look forward to some of these sessions. We'll come and we'll participate in these sessions. And I'd like to just conclude by remembering what one of my senior colleagues told me last year. So he came to see the festival, in fact, the previous chief secretary. So he lived most of his life, a large part of his life in Shillong, and a very well-traveled gentleman. He said, Vijay, I have seen so many things in life, and I've had all the experience that Shillong can offer. But sitting in this lit fest for about 2 hours and kind of being in that setting and just listening to the authors and feeling the vibe of this city, this was one of the greatest experiences I had in Shillong. So I think I invite everyone to have that experience and enjoy the festival. I'm sure the festival will be a huge success, and we look forward to the conversations, the interactions, and to the authors who have come from far away.